Shine forth as the Moon Maiden shines.
Wood Elf or Half Elf are recommended races for the extra 1.5 meter movement speed to zoom around better. While seems small, it gets increasingly better when doubled move speed conditions or flight are involved. You could also run this on Shadowheart as companion. The build will work just as well regardless of race choices. You'll want high dexterity for initiative and constitution to maintain concentration spells. 1 ability improvement and Mirror of Loss are enough for 20 wisdom, leaving you a feat open for Warcaster. The build will dip into Sorcerer later for constitution proficiency. Keep in mind for Saloon Shadowheart, she can't get bonus stat from Mirror of Loss, so you'll have to settle with 18 wisdom and Warcaster, which is fine as you can get a lot of spell attack and save DC bonuses just from equipments. The build itself also apply a lot of debuffs that further help you or allies land their attacks and spells better, while making enemies feel miserable. Sacred Flame is your normal attack whenever you want to conserve spell slots. It scales to 2d8 at level 5, and 3d8 plus Wisdom modifier at level 10. As Light Cleric, you also get Burning Hands, which is decent for close-range area damage, but don't upcast to 3rd level spell slot. Those are better preserved for fireballs. Warding Flare as a reaction, impose disadvantage on an incoming hit to possibly make it miss instead. You get to do so once per turn. It's a solid feature to improve your survivability. Bless is great to improve your hit chance, especially early on when everyone's attack rolls are still low. Guiding Bolt and Inflict Wound are your single target damage spells. Guiding Bolt is a ranged spell attack that applies advantage on target, which enable your ally next attack. Inflict Wound, on the other hand, is a melee spell attack and has more damage. They can both critical hit for even bigger damage. Adds in vulnerable to all damage from perilous stakes, and you could nuke even major bosses. At level 2, you gain Radiance of the Dawn, which uses a Channel Divinity charge. It does 2d10 radiant damage plus character level in a massive area to enemies around you. Divinity charge recharges on short rest, so you can go ham with Radiance Dawn every battle if wanted. Healing Word is useful to have prepared, costing a bonus action for emergency heals or to help a downed ally. In critical situation, Sanctuary is better to safeguard an ally, making them untargetable from enemy attacks. In this state, that ally can safely heal or buff up as long as they want. Harming enemy will break the condition when they wish to rejoin the fight. At level 3, you can start using Scorching Ray in place of Guiding Bolt for ranged attack. Scorching Ray is also essential to build up stacks of buff and debuff later on, as you can get Hat of Fire Acuity early into Act 2 from killing the Strange Ox in Last Light In. It gives +2 to spell attack and save DC whenever you deal fire damage up to +7. With the hat, one cast of Scorching Ray will help you land most of your spells afterward. Spiritual Weapon is good to weaponize your bonus action in early levels. The summon itself does decent damage and good at drawing enemies. Command are very useful hard crowd controls, and can be upcasted to affect multiple targets. All of the variants effectively shut down enemies' turns, while also giving you easy advantage or opportunity attacks, or even dropping their weapons. By taking Warcaster feat, you now have advantage on concentration saving throws, which help you hold spells much better, most notably useful for Spirit Guardians. You can also now use Reaction for Shocking Grasp as opportunity attacks for more damage per round, which happens a lot as enemies tend to run away from Spirit Guardians. Even if Shocking Grasp wasn't learned, Warcaster still gives you one that uses Wisdom modifier, but only as a reaction attack. At level 5, Light Cleric can toss in a couple of fireballs whenever there is a big group of enemies. Glyph of Warding provide various type of area elemental damage to match each encounter better if you so choose. However, the Sleep variant can be very powerful as it guarantees crits on multiple enemies for your big hitters.
Another step forward.
When playing as elves who are immune to sleep, you can put Glyph of Sleep right on spot when surrounded without being affected. Spirit Guardians will be your primary concentration spell going forward. It creates an aura of radiant or necrotic damage of your choosing, decimating enemies that stand in the way for 10 turns. It's a powerful spell that could damage all enemies in the battlefield for every round given enough movement speed. Naturally, movement speed buffs like Long Strider or Haste would be greatly appreciated. The more enemies you can run over, the better.
Whatever it takes.
In addition to that, Spirit Guardians is best pre-cast before fights begin, so you could start slinging other spells as early as first round.
Bad behavior caught this guard's up.
Spirit Guardians can be further enhanced by equipments to deal more damage while also applying different debuffs that reduce enemies' hit chance, make them more susceptible to incoming attacks, or even knocking them prone. Flight on its own also travel at effectively doubled your current movement speed. In this footage, I'm using Potion of Flying. However, one could get permanent flight when they go half Illithid, but their appearance look a little less pleasant. At level 6, you gain another Channel Divinity charges. That's 2 Radiance of the Dawn per short rest. With improved Warding Flare, you can now impose disadvantage on enemy attack that's coming for your allies as well.
As thou desire.
Respec after you reach level 7, then start as Sorcerer first level so you could get proficiency in Constitution saves. Along with Warcaster advantage on concentration saving throws, your Spirit Guardians will rarely ever drop. Do not take Shocking Grasp here, as it uses Charisma modifier, and will override the Warcaster Shocking Grasp reaction attack that uses your Cleric Wisdom modifier as I've explained before. Shield spell use a reaction to add +5 to your AC. This buff lasts until it's your active turn, so you always have a passive +5 to your current AC as long as reaction is available. Magic Missile multi-hit damage synergize well with our itemization. It also can't be missed, making it both a potent tool to deal reliable single-target damage and apply debuffs. As a Storm Sorcerer, you can use Tempestuous Fly with bonus action after casting a spell. Tempestuous Fly doesn't consume your movement like Jump or normal flight does. It's basically a 9-mirror teleport on use. Any form of extra mobility helps, to maximize Spirit Guardian's reach. Here, I start a fight with Fireball to gain Tempestuous Fly in first round, then end it with a barrage of magic missiles. Due to Holy Lance Helm, enemies take radiant damage every time they miss Shadowheart. You can also utilize Tempestuous Fly for exploring the world by using Mask of the Shapeshifter, which has unlimited Disguise Self. Only one dip as Sorcerer is needed. Level up as Light Cleric all the way as normal. At level 9 of Light Cleric, they get to learn Destructive Wave, which functions similarly to Radiance of Dawn. Destructive Wave does both Radiant and Imp Thunder damage, 5d6 each for a total of 10d6 in a massive area. It also prone enemies amp trigger multiple additional damage from equipments due to its multi-hit nature. You can use Divine Intervention however you like. Heal is great to immediately top up a target in critical situation. Hero's Feast gives everyone extra 12 max HP, along with many immunities and advantage on wisdom saves. Combine it with level 6 aid spell for another 25 max HP will make your party much more beefier. You can rely on Marco Heschker Legendary Staff or Staff of Power to free cast the buffs at 6th level spell slot. Planar ally let you summon a celestial diva to fight at your side. He's a strong summon that lasts until long rest, which makes planar ally very spell slot efficient. It's still worth, even if you don't use free cast or spell slot restoration. Illithid Powers are optional, as core concept of the build works great regardless of them. Otherwise, Luck of the Far Realms is good to guarantee a big critical hit for inflicting wound every long rest. Then we have Perilous Stakes, to debuff a specific boss that you want to delete, as they become vulnerable to all damage. As enemies struggle to connect their attacks, Stage Fright makes them take 2d6 psychic damage each time they miss so you could conserve spell slots. Cull the Weak is pretty powerful. It will confirm kill low HP enemies if you decided to go full Brainiac. This saves you the actions or resources you would have used to finish them off. Lastly, Permanent Fly is great, especially useful for spirit guardians at the cost of your appearance from going half illithid. Alternatively, you can drink a potion of flying instead. Equipments highlighted in red are core gear of the build. If there are two core gear overlapping, it means either will work in case one piece is taken by other party member. The build comes online pretty early as most of your core gear are available in Act 1. With Luminous Armor, you apply Radiating Orb in 3-meter radius every time you deal radiant damage, which happens all the time as a light cleric. Affected enemies has -1 to attack rolls per remaining turns of Radiating Orb, up to -7. But in current patch, Luminous Armor has no cap on Radiating Orb, which can get ridiculously out of hand, where it's impossible for enemies to hit you unless they score a critical hit. However, the intended cap of -7 to attack rolls is still a severe debuff that would cause most enemies to miss, so the build will be fine even once things got fixed. Boots of Stormy Clamor apply another layer of debuffs called Reverberation whenever you inflict a condition on enemies, which you do majority of the times as well. For examples, Shrieking Aura is an AoE condition. Reeling is a condition when enemy miss their attacks on you. Radiating Orb itself is also a condition. As for enemies affected with Reverberation, they has -1 penalty to Strength, Dexterity, and Constitution saving throws per remaining turn, meaning it will be easier to land spells on them such as Radiance of the Dawn, Fireballs, Glyph of Warding, etc. When target have 5 or more stacks, it takes 1d4 thunder damage and possibly fall prone. The stacks are removed afterward to be built up again. Prone can force enemy to pass turns if they receive it during their active turn. Prone itself is also another whole different condition that is beneficial to you. So Reverberation on its own is just a whole package of goodness. Gloves of Belligerent Skies is another set piece of Reverberation, applying 2 turns of the condition each time you deal thunder or radiant damage on enemies. Your main source of thunder damage will be coming from Shriek Aura. Affected enemies inside the aura will take 1d4 thunder every time they take damage, which can quickly add up. In addition to that, they have a 1d4 penalty to mental saving throws, which makes them more susceptible to spirit guardians, perilous stakes, command, hold person, or monster. Considering how often you will be at the front line, face to face with the enemy, your allies will get to benefit all of the things Shriek Aura provides as well. With Holy Lance Helm, enemy take 1d4 radiant on miss. You could also force their opportunity attacks to squeeze in extra damage, and additional proc of a bunch of stuffs from your equipments. In Act 1, use Amulet of Restoration and Whispering Promise Ring so you could hand out mini bless on heals whenever needed. Sentinel Shield and Bow of Awareness combo will let you go first in all battles of Act 2, so you could debuff enemies and set up the fight in your favor. Even someone like Yurgir who has alert feet will still go after you. Callous Glow Ring add 2 additional radiant whenever you damage an enemy who are illuminated. You can guarantee this by casting light on yourself, although normally Radiating Orb already sheds bright light around it. This ring radiant damage essentially let you do just about any attacks to trigger radiating orb and reverberation conditions from your equipments. As you apply reverberation and deal thunder damage 24/7, you now also possibly dazed enemies thanks to Ring of Spiteful Thunder. Dazed enemies has disadvantage on wisdom saves, which let you land spells on them easier, notably Spirit Guardians. They also can't take reactions and lose AC bonus from dexterity, so they become susceptible to attack rolls as well. If nobody is using Psychic Spark Amulet, it can be temporarily utilized on you to add an additional dart on magic missiles, which could easily stack up debuffs and deal reliable single-target damage. Amulet of the Devout adds 2 spell save DC and an additional Channel Divinity charge, so you could have 3 Radiance of the Dawn in one battle. Hellrider Longbow +3 initiative helps you going early. Keep in mind for Selûne Shadowheart, dismiss her before talking to the merchant, otherwise he won't sell you the bow. After killing a creature using Staff of Cherished Necromancy, you can cast Necromancy spell without consuming a spell slot, which will be used to upcast Inflict Wound at level 6. The staff passive persists, even after you swap back to Falar al-Louv. If current party doesn't have anyone that could buff haste, you can't go wrong with Potion of Speed to get an extra action and double your move speed. For those who don't plan on using Illithid Power, they can chug a Potion of Flying instead. Bloodlust Elixir gives you yet another additional action on kill, to shower your enemies with holy light.